that documentation in the book. Now, in 1964, there was a large-scale killing called Hazrat Bal Danga, Hazrat Bal Pogrom. In the first day, this is a Washington Times. It says in the very first day, 1,000 Hindus were killed. And there was a ban by Pakistan saying Hindu killing cannot be told. So, the paper says, as you can see, East Pakistan firmly resists in the name of love of Muslim criminals rampaging through the city. Even Muslims like them. There are many Muslims who tried to protect their Hindu neighbors. They were killed so that they could try, not that the Hindus were being killed. This is what I mentioned. This is the loss, decanal loss, and this second card becomes this plus rate of growth of this one. That is the way you count refugees anywhere, Palestinians, Armenians. So if you add this and then add, this was the refugee this year, lost from the Bangladesh census, add to this growth of this one, so it comes to almost 49 million. And none of us sees that. And this is from Bangladesh census, no, Now, this is 1971. We have many pictures. Main target where Bangladesh, in Dhaka University has the Jagannath Hall. Still, it is the Hindu dormitory. Pakistan Army's first act was to destroy that one. So there are names of one of the good things of Bangladesh being a Muslim country. They have, this is my interpretation. They do. I mean, they put the names in Bengal, right in my neighborhood, Baliganj. There is no name of the people who were murdered or the monks. So 64 of them were murdered. And there is a YouTube document now available. Actually shows that 2 or 3 boys still surviving. They stood up. So somebody goes and some policeman goes and shoots them point blank. So this is still there in Dhaka. And this is, by the way, also something we never did. This temple called Ramna Kali Bari, probably the oldest Kali temple in the entire subcontinent, 9th century. And that was destroyed by Pakistan Army and then also by the Free Bangladesh government of Mujibur Rahman. And that's how it looked. So these are my pictures. 1990s, there was a civilian commission, not government, civil. They got together. Sohan is a Muslim gentleman headed by that, and there is a list of 100 people who were killed, and it was the brutality, the way the priests were first asked to slaughter their cows. They wouldn't. Then they cut a piece of the flesh and forced onto the mouth of the priest and priestess. When they said, oh, their tongue came out, they pulled the tongue out and cut it off, and then finally so the brutality was, this is in Faridpur, as you see, this is from the New York Times, much like you see during Holocaust also it did. People painted H for Hindu shops still standing in the part of this town are where. So, and the Christians, mostly Baptists, would process so that they would understand to go and kill Hindus. Next day, 300 Hindus were killed in the neighboring place. This is my picture in Prabhupada Sangha. These teachers stood against the wall and they were killed because it was ashram. Of that, as a 30 Hindu men, 1 Hindu woman. Then this is also, we should have protested Bangladesh. Muslim guys did it, we should have done it ourselves. I did myself. He became a minister just 5 years ago, and he himself admitted of killing Hindus, 5 Hindu and Muslims. Bangla minister, Mr. Maulana Motiur Rahman Nizami, a minister from, he got himself donated to the Boteshwar Saha Hindu and Madhapur village and all that. And then many more. Then we have whether or not they use the word extermination of Hindus. Yahya Khan used it. So there's a Pakistan did a report which was never disclosed officially called Hamidul Commission report. And that's when they were also asking the policemen or the military, did you ever use the word extermination of Hindus? And so this is, as you can see, they were all asked, how many Hindus have you killed today? When the first thing they would come back to the camp, that's what they were asked. This is during my research. I found out there are 65 Hindu families where the mothers and older daughters were abused, finally bumped from places to place, and Haryana has found shelter in the Mahila ashram. So I said in Delhi, I went there, just said I should talk to them. And she was so happy to see somebody from back home talking with them. So all the male members, adult boys and husbands were killed. In the Mondabari district is very important because this has happened during Holocaust also many times. In this case, 300 Hindus sought shelter in a Catholic mission. And the Archbishop Ganguly tells that 85 of them were released to the killers. Why haven't you pursued this to the Catholic Church? Why did you release them? And they never came back. Okay, this is also a case when I wrote and we wrote to this guy, Alauddin Qadir Chaudhuri. He almost became head of Organization of Islamic Nations. Thank goodness now he came second. Now Turkey won the. He himself killed, and there's one of his sons who lives in Canada. His parents were killed by him and by their family. But this is what we Hindus do not protest. These guys have become head of Islamic. We did. Many people in New York did. But this is what we Hindu killing. Time magazine is our US embassy is writing. The Hindus who account for 3/4 of the kill. Even now, Muslim soldiers in East Pakistan will snatch away man's lungi to see if he's circumcised. Obligatory Muslims is not easy to meet death. Others are simply round it up and killed. It's the most incredible calculated thing since the days of Nazis in Poland. This is US embassy writing to our State Department. This is self-explanatory, came from Time magazine, also in my book. All of these are from my book. Now this is probably you know Virendranath Datta, whom I call the idea of the Bengali nation, as he was the first to propose Pakistan Parliament Bengali to be a national language, and that language created Bangladesh. He and his son were dragged by Army of Islamic Republic from their home. Their remains were never found, yet his home and homestead were confiscated without compensation and notice to any property act in free Bangladesh, comparable to declaring George Washington's homestead as enemy property. That's my comment. Now, this is the story I had to, in the newspapers outside, is the 80s. This is an extremely poor family, peasants and housemaids. They were asked to go to India. They said, where do we go? We have nowhere to go. So, brutality of the whole family were kidnapped in the middle of the night, taken to a river bank. There were big drums present. And starting with the mother, they cut each one of them into small pieces because they couldn't fit it in the drum, where others are watching. So when I read it, I said, I must have to go to Dhaka and apologize to this family. So I found, when I went to Dhaka, I asked my friends, and they said they found out a taxi. I paid 6,000 takas, it's a lot of money, but that's fine. So I had to go and say, I'm sorry, that we could protect you. How sad. They were small homestead, and by the way, one of the good things in Bangladesh is at least they made these monuments for them. At least it remains. So this is the thing that middle class fled for the. Okay, 5 more minutes, so I'll go. This is my taking. During Bangladesh, there is another problem of cremation. Shashans have been destroyed left and right. And in 1992, I think I saw 5 shashans because there were no one Hindus to be given the last rites. Hindus and Buddhists. It's a different story. I don't have time. You ask me, I'll tell you. This is a guy I had to write. He's my friend's son. He's a very talented, first in the college. And this is the Awami League supporter. They have been living in the same house in 400 years. And so one of the Awami League guys comes and says, you must leave. This is because you're Hindu. This is my property. He says, how could you? So the boy was kidnapped, beheaded, it was sent to the mother. This is what happens to Hindus. So when I read it, I picked up the phone, talked to their mother couldn't talk anyway. So I picked up the cause And finally, I wrote to the president, our president, their president, name it. Finally, 7 people were sentenced to death in 14 months. His father said, Dada, if we had done it from 47, many of us would have been still living here. But this is us, no time. Now, this is a little positive thing, this anecdote. This is our ancestral home of 1500s. This family took over when, after pogrom, they went to a safe place. By the time they came, they were already there. The extended family, they lived for almost 500 years. So the entire village is Dastidar village. So anyway, but we have our very old Vishnu Mandir. So we say that now we'll see in another slide, things have come back. This is our ancestor, mother's, Mama Bari, mother's family's home. And they lived there, they were very highly educated. So this time we went, one Muslim guy with a lungi and long beard comes running. He said, go see your family home. In 1930s, there were nine judges, British judges came from that family, with the last name Roy Choudhury. And this was their home. And my grandfather was an attorney. He worked in the Gandhiji. Whole family, including grandmother, was in prison. Together, they spent 17 years for non-violence in the prison. So, but anyway, my sister, Didi, went for the first time after 60 years. So once she liked so much, she led a delegation of 8 people in 7 months. So this is a temple I have saved. We'll come back to that. We will have that. Now, can you, Rajiv Babu, can you set up the other slide for me, please? This is a temple. This is a school we have built. This is the Gandhi ashram where we have removed the mosque from. And this is, we are opening up a school. When Shefali gives you presentation of Provini, you will see a little bit more of that. And this is our information. Now, we need to upload the other slide. Yes, we can. Who knows that? To upload the other slide? In that group. I can go.